Hey there and welcome to the Art Lab. My name is Andy and today I'm going to look at this piece of resin art that I did probably about a month or so ago. I'm not 100% happy with it, so I'm going to redo it. It's one of the cool things with resin art is, or any art really, is that you can just go over the top of it, and so that's what I'm going to do today. The first thing I need to do is make sure this is level, because resin is a liquid, it's going to run and it really needs to be level, so a simple level like this is really helpful to be able to place on and make sure that bubble is in the center all around the artwork. And I've actually cheated a little bit here because I've adjusted the height prior to filming, so everything I know here is level. The next part I'm going to do is just give it a bit of a scuff up, so that way the top layer of resin that I'm going to put on this will bind to this bottom layer. At the moment this bottom layer is pretty smooth, it's probably had some oil from my hands all over it, so I want to give it a light scuff with some sandpaper, give it a wipe down with some isopropyl alcohol, and then be ready to do our pour on top of it. So I've got the painter's tape now right around the artboard, and the purpose of this is to ensure that the resin does not flow off when I put it on. So I want it to sit on there and to cure slightly before I remove this, and I can still get that little runoff of the edge, but not all of the resin's going to go at once. So it's quite a cool little trick to do, to sort of dam up the resin, wait for it to cure a little bit, and then that way you're not wasting a lot of resin. Right, so it's a bit of a cold day here today, so what I'm going to do is just put this resin in some warm water and let that warm up for about 5 minutes. It's just going to make that resin a little bit more flow a little bit better, and that's going to be better for our artwork. So for this mix I'm going to be using a by weight ratio. So our Texpert resin is actually a volume ratio, but they've actually got a really cool calculator where you can work out the weight instead of using volume. Because I've got some scales, that makes it a lot more accurate for me than trying to measure out. I don't have a measuring cup, so I'd have to be guessing to make a 1-to-1 ratio from volume. Whereas with weight I can use and get the exact number right here on my scales. Right, so I've warmed that up and that heat from the water has transferred to the resin, so that's nice and warm, and you can see how smoothly that flows. That just makes things a little bit easier to manage in pouring these out. So the number I need here for part A is 200, so we'll be aiming for. .201, so that's pretty close. That's part A. Right, might reset that so that it doesn't go and do the same thing on me. 0, and we only need 180 of part B, and that's just because obviously B must weigh less than part A, but volume wise it's the same. Creep up on that 180. Right, so I'm all about reuse, recycle. This is a takeaway dish that I had for lunch the other day, along with the nice wooden spoon for that. So I've cleaned them up and they make an excellent resin mixing container. So I'm going to go and mix this resin now, part A, part B. So I'll be mixing this for 5 minutes, and then after that I'm going to separate it out into 4 different cups because I'm going to have 4 different colours that I'll be using in this resin piece. Now I'm sure you don't want to sit through 5 minutes of me mixing this resin together, so we'll just jump to the end where I've separated out and into the 4 cups. We're now into the part of the process where it's just pouring the resin onto the board, so not much commentary to add here, so I'll just let you sit back, watch and look at the resin magic happen. So here we are at the finished piece, and I'm really happy with how this has come out. I quite like this myself. If you think this is pretty cool, leave a comment below. Really looking for some engagement on these videos, so it'd be great if you could give it a thumbs up. If you like this sort of work, then also hit that subscribe button so you can see more artwork that I make. All that's left to do is to come back in about 30 minutes time, and at that stage I'm going to remove the green painter's tape from around the edge. What that will do is allow that resin to slowly drip down the sides. So it's now been 24 hours and that resin has cured. Now what I'm doing here is trying to get rid of those drips, and so I had already put painter's tape around the back, and with the help of a heat gun it's a quick way to get rid of the drips without having to sand. And of course no artwork is finished unless I give it a sign and put a date on there. So here I am looking all serious with the art reveal here. Not sure why I wasn't smiling. I'm really happy with how this came out, so there should be a happy smile on my face. I was going for a marble greenstone known as Pounamu here in New Zealand look, and I think in some respects I achieved it, otherwise maybe the white sort of throws it off a bit, but overall really happy with this artwork. If you like it, then it's up for sale now, so go check it out, andy.co.nz.